Hello, welcome to one of my videos. It is the end of May 2026 and it's been quite a few years since I made a video. Today I want to show how to make a very basic starter square. You can work it as long as you want, but what we're going to do is we're going to start with a chain and then we are just going to work back and forth. I'm using American codes, so we're going to make a chain and then we're going to make half double crochet. So to wrap it, pinch the short tail with my two fingers, hold it on my pointing finger, wrap it around once, grip it at the back, go in underneath, and then I'm going to go and fetch that yarn there and pull it through. Do it again, pinch the short tail, wrap it around my pointer finger, go underneath both loops, and go and fetch the yarn with my hook, pull it through, and it makes a little knot. Then I'm going to close that knot until it's the size of my hook. Now I have the tail here and I have the long yarn there wrapped around my little finger. Take my pointer finger and that's now going to be working as my tension. See? You'll start to develop your own technique with time, depending on your fingers, your construction of your fingers, and what's comfortable for you. We are going to make 11 chains. So I've got one on my hook, 2, 3, 4. I'm not making them tight because I need to work into them. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can make it really, really, really short. You can make it any size you want, but I want to just get into the technique. Now we're going to wrap the yarn and we're going to go into the second loop from the hook. Hook's going to go in there, you're going to fetch the yarn. Now you have 3 on your hook. You fetch the yarn through again and you're going to go through all 3. Wrap the yarn, I'm going to go into the next loop. This first row is very, very fiddly. 3 on your hook, wrap the yarn again and go through all 3. And you're just going to continue with that till the end. That's why, don't try to be too courageous with this step and make, 100 loops. What you want to do is you want to develop, you want to become comfortable with your hook and with your yarn. I've just chosen the half double crochet because it's a nice stitch to work with. It's not as tight as the single crochet, it's not as loopy as the double crochet. Wrap the yarn, go into the hole, make it 3, wrap the yarn and come through all 3 again. So we come right to the end. You see the little worm is curling. Now I'm going to chain 2. So I pull through the yarn. So let me go back there. So you see, I'm going to chain 2. Chain 1, chain 2. Then when you turn the work, you must be consistent about the way you turn. So my work, as you can see, it's folding towards my thumb. So I'm just always going to turn that way. Basically push the work against my thumb, pinch it, readjust the hands. Now I'm working from the opposite side and I'm going to be working all the way back. Your first loop, your first stitch that you're going to make, there's already one there, that's already a stitch. The first one you're going to make is into this V and it presents as a little eye. See the little hole there? It's like this, look, it's like this little eyes looking at you, a little mask. So wrap the yarn and go into that, making sure that you've got both of the loops on your hook. And fetch the yarn, you're going to bring it through. Now you've got 3 loops on your hook. Fetch the yarn and pull it through all 3. And repeat the process. And you come into the end and you see these stitches going down the edge there. You actually need to work into that. Those are your chain 2 ups. It's going to be a bit fiddly, but once you start doing it each row, it's going to become more natural to you. So you've got 3, and fetch the yarn and go all the way up. We'll make a few rows and then we'll double check by counting. So now I'm going to chain 2, keeping it nice and loose. Turn the yarn always in the same direction. Wrap the yarn and go back into that eye, right at the base of those chain 2. This yarn is unraveling. The plies are unraveling, so it's catching on my hook. You might say, what are we going to do with such a small little thing afterwards? Well, this is really about learning the technique. You can make the chain longer if you want to make it 20, 30, 40, 50. So now you come to the end, you think, okay, I'm finished. No, actually, you have one down there. See how it's falling down the side? Two nice and loose loops. Turn it again. Go back into the eye. Once your work becomes a bit longer, it'll be comfortable to hold it in your hands. It's gonna find its own place in your hands. These first few rows are fiddly because you've got hardly any work to hold on. The size of your work does make a difference. Like if you're making a blanket, you might find that your stitches are tighter along the edges and looser along the middle, which might warp it slightly, but you'll get used to it. So once again, you think, oh, I'm finished. No, you're not. There's that guy on the side there. You're going to go and fetch him. I said, this yarn, the plies are coming undone. 2 nice, loose loops on the edge. Turn it again. I turn towards the thumb of the left hand. My very first blanket, very first crochet project. I was 18 and pregnant with my first baby. My mother gave me a big bag of 100% wool. It's 1987. 100% wool crochet hook. She showed me this stitch, and I started working back and forth. And it was big enough that we could actually tie him on our backs, as they do in Africa. And it was so nice and stretchy because it was pure wool. So let me go so you can see. Here we go. See, it's on the side there. You almost think, well, it's not there. It is there. It's come closer and you can see what's going on. He doesn't look nice and neat like an eye. Like, well, what is that thing? That is the top of your stitch. There are very nice techniques to make a very nice edge, but what you want to do now and for the foreseeable future is to get your hands used to the movement of crocheting. You want to get used to having the tension in this hand. You want to get used to how you're going to hold your hook. Some people, they automatically gravitate this way, and so they're basically working like that. So they'll wrap. I can't even do it. my muscle just memory is just not like that. I hold it like that. Same way that I hold my knitting needles. I also hold the yarn like this when I knit because I hold the yarn in the left hand. So for me, crochet and knitting, they have a very similar feel to them. Like this, I'm holding the work here. If I was knitting, I'd just be holding the other needle and I'd be knitting. So it's very, very similar for me. You'll have to do thousands and thousands of stitches. You want to get to the point where you can actually do it without having to concentrate. And then you know that you're really ready for something a bit more of a challenge. So if you want to, just you can count, but you can actually look at it and you can see. That's why a very small piece is far easier than a long piece, because a long piece, you really can't see whether you're going in or out until it's too late. This will tell you immediately, but you can count as well. So you can see how it's making like a little ridge. See there? Just simply because of the way that this technique is. So if you're going to count, what we're going to do is we're not going to count the ridges. We're going to count in between just to make sure that we have the right amount of stitches. So we're going to start with the lowest row here. I'm going to count the side there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's your base count. You're going to go over the ridge. You're going to go to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll go over, we're going to skip the ridge. We're going to go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then you know that the technique that you have is working. You can almost call this a test square. It's always worth doing a test square. Also, you can see whether the yarn thickness matches your needle, your hook. You might want to adjust up and down, because this is sold as a double K, DK, but DK can come in any sort of thickness. So you want to match the two. Everyone's got different tension. My tension is based on the thickness of the hook. But some hooks, they actually start small and they get fatter and fatter. And then depending on where you're going through, it'll affect how big your loop is. But so I always buy hooks where no matter where I am on it, it's always the same thickness. And also some people, when they crochet, they actually, without knowing it, give like a little tug, which automatically makes the loop smaller. That's if you have a very tight tension. Some people, they can crochet and it's very loose, and so it becomes quite baggy. So you want to try and match the two so that you get a result that is got a nice feel to it. This yarn is quite thin. I could even have gone down to a 3.5. This is a 4. So let's just continue. There's not much of this yarn. I make 2 nice comfortable loops. You see, they are actually a bit bigger than the hook. That's the hook. I'm putting through is quite comfortable. Turn the work towards the thumb, wrap the yarn, go into the V. Fetch the yarn, go through all 3. And one is going to want to have the tendency to want to auto-criticize the work, forgetting that it's a starter project. I was lucky with the first yarn that I used because it was pure wool. Pure wool is the little tiny fibers, they catch on each other. Acrylic doesn't work the same way. So it was very forgiving. If my tension was changing slightly over the row, it was very forgiving. Come to the end, remember that one going down the side, that needs to be included. That little V, I call them V's. They might have another name to them. Top of the stitch maybe. See, it's nice and loose. I make 2 nice loose ones on the side. So when I come back, I can work into them. That's why you always want to turn your work in the same direction so that you can start to recognize what the stitch looks like when you get to the end. If you're twisting different directions each time, you're not going to be able to find where you're working it into, where you're working your that very last stitch into. See how it's got the bar in the front here? And then you have to literally go almost turn that work around to find that V. You're going to come in that bar, but you want to get both of them. Wrap the yarn, turn again towards the thumb. And go in. So you can just continue. If it gets too long, then you just start with a new project. You want to just remain comfortable with what you're doing. You make it very long, someone's going to be getting a crochet tie for Christmas. Think, oh, I'm finished. No, you're not. There's one more. I'm going to count them. Go ahead, put your hook down, pull it out. See, it's there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You just keep on going. If you want to change color, just take the new color and see if the yarn is the same thickness. Put it over your finger and you just pull it, and then you'll put the other yarn next to it. Because even if the packet says DK, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the same thickness. And if you go from one like this to a much thicker one, it is going to bulge out. But as this is a test, it doesn't really matter. And you'll find you might be more comfortable with some yarns over them. This one is quite a slippery one. It's got a bit of a sheen to it. I don't know the brand. I just got an odd packet of yarn, so I don't know what the brand is. It is a little bit slippery, and the plies are coming loose quite easily, which makes it a bit more hard to work with. If you have one where the plies are really nicely closed in and you don't have them splitting apart, will be really handy, especially if you have never crocheted or knitted before. Then it's going to be a challenge with with each stitch you're actually fighting the plies as well. So these little tips to make it easier rather than difficult for a first-time crochet person, or simply as first time ever working with yarn and hook. So you want to get to the point where you've done thousands and thousands and thousands of stitches, and it becomes muscle memory. As I said, you've got to find out what your hands want to do. So I've got this technique, and if you're finding that it's really hard to hold, then you can look on YouTube to somebody who holds it like that. There might even be other ways, I don't know, but some like that. You'll see. There might be some like coming like that. I don't know. I just hold it almost like a flute that I'm playing. And there we go. I hope that you're going to enjoy that. And with any luck, I'll make some more videos on basic crochet starter techniques. Have a lovely day. Bye.